By midnight, she'd be the one packing her bags. Nobody at that party knew it yet, not even her. My name's Ray, 38. I run a construction crew outside Columbus, Ohio. Married to Colette, 8 years. One daughter, Birdie, 6 years old. Obsessed with butterfly stickers, the kind she peels off a sheet and sticks on everything. Her backpack, her cup, once even the dashboard of my truck. That girl is the best thing I ever built, and I've built houses for a living. I wasn't a perfect husband. I worked too much, I came home tired and quiet, and when things got tense between us, my first instinct was always to walk out to the garage instead of talking. I let a lot of silence build up in that house. Colette used to look at me like I hung the moon. Somewhere in the last year, that look changed. Little comments. You could try harder. You could be more. I told myself it was stress. I told myself it would pass. I was wrong. It was a Saturday morning. Colette had spent weeks planning our 8th anniversary party. String lights, a rented arch, the kind of setup you'd put on Instagram before you'd even sent the invites. Appearances mattered to Colette. Sometimes the picture of a thing mattered more than the thing itself. I walked into the kitchen, and her phone was sitting face up on the counter, screen lit. I wasn't trying to look, but a name popped up. Grant. Our neighbor, 2 houses down, the guy who used to help me trim hedges. The message under his name said, "Can't wait for tonight. Everyone's going to be looking right at us, and no one will even know." My throat went tight. I picked up the phone. Once I started reading, I couldn't stop. 6 months, hotel receipts, "I love yous" typed to another man while I slept beside her. And 2 days before this party, a message where she told him I'd tell him the truth after the party so it doesn't look bad in front of everyone. She wasn't planning to leave quietly. She was planning to humiliate me first. I sat down on the bathroom floor. My hands wouldn't stop opening and closing like they needed something to grab onto, and there was nothing there. 8 years, a daughter, a whole life, and I was the last one to find out. Something shifted in me right there. I decided I wasn't going to confront her yet. I wanted to see exactly how far she'd take it in front of everyone she loved impressing. I got up, splashed water on my face, went downstairs and helped her set up folding chairs like nothing was wrong. I called my lawyer that afternoon from the garage, voice low, told him something was coming. He told me to document everything I could. So I did. Quiet, careful. Later, I nearly walked into the kitchen and ended it right there, hours before the party even started. I was 2 steps from the doorway. Then Birdie came running through with a sticker crooked on her cheek, laughing, asking me to zip up her sundress. I froze. I thought about her walking into that kitchen in the middle of us screaming at each other. If this was going to happen, it was going to happen on my terms, not sprung on her without warning. So I zipped up her dress, told her she looked beautiful, and I went back to waiting. By 6, the yard was full, string lights glowing, grill smoking, Colette's mother there, her sister, our neighbors, a few of my crew guys and their wives. Birdie ran barefoot through the grass, proud that everyone had come. I smiled. I shook hands. I played my part. Happy husband. 8 wonderful years. Every word tasted like glass going down. Grant showed up around 7, checking his gold watch every few minutes, standing a little too close to Colette at the drink table. Nobody else noticed. I noticed everything. At one point, my brother-in-law shouted across the yard, half joking, "Ray, get up here, say something nice about your wife." Everyone clapped, waiting on me. My stomach dropped. I had the phone in my pocket. I could have ended it right there. I almost did. I just smiled, said she knows how I feel, raised my glass, and let it pass. Not yet. A little later, I watched Colette pull Grant off to the side of the garage, heads close together, her hand pressed flat against his chest. Nobody else was looking that direction. I was. My jaw locked so tight it ached. I didn't move. I just watched and waited, because I needed the whole yard watching when it finally happened. Right before the toast, Grant actually came up and found me by the cooler, clapped a hand on my shoulder, smiled that easy neighbor smile, and said, "8 years, man. You two make it look easy." I looked him dead in the eye and said, "We do our best." He had no idea how true that was about to sound. Colette had a few drinks in her by then, and that's when she got bold. Little jokes about me in front of the guests. Ray here still thinks a Friday night out means Home Depot. Some people laughed. Her own mother didn't. She looked at me almost sad, like she felt sorry for me and didn't know why yet. Then Colette raised her glass for the toast. The whole yard went quiet. 8 years, she said. 8 years of trying to build a life with a man who never grew past being a foreman. A few uncomfortable laughs. She kept going, looking straight at me, smiling that exact smile from the messages. My daughter deserves a better father. The yard laughed like it was cute. Grant stood near the fence, smirking into his drink. I set my glass down slow, and I said, calm as I could manage, "You're right, she does." I pulled out my phone. I hit play. Her voice came out clear as day, telling Grant she loved him, telling him tonight was the last night she'd have to pretend. His voice, too, laughing, saying something about poor Ray. Somebody dropped a plate. Glass shattered on the patio stone. Grant found his voice first. Hold on, everyone, this is out of context. We work together, that's all this is." His words tripped over each other, getting smaller. Somebody's uncle just laughed flat and said, "Out of context, sure." Grant stopped talking. He tried to slide toward the side gate. Instead, I stepped in front of it, didn't touch him, just stood there. He froze. Colette's face went white, then red. She crossed the yard fast and slapped me hard, screaming that I had no right, that I was twisting things. I didn't move. I said the only thing I had left. "Birdie's on the porch, Colette. She's been watching this whole time." Every head turned, and there she was, 6 years old, sundress, one sticker still crooked on her cheek. She wasn't crying, that's the part that still gets me. She just looked at her mother, small and steady, and asked one question that carried across the whole silent yard. "Mommy, why did you say that about Daddy if it wasn't even true?" Nobody said a word after that. That's the moment. Not the recording, not the slap. That's the one I still see when I close my eyes. If you're still here, thank you for sticking with me through that. If stories like this move you the way this one moved me telling it, hit subscribe now, because what happened after that party might be even harder to believe. People left fast, quiet, stiff exits under string lights that suddenly felt like they were mocking the whole night. Colette's mother pulled me aside before she left, said she was sorry, said she didn't raise her daughter to be like that. About 20 minutes later, a car pulled up fast. Grant's wife, Delphine. Someone had already called her. She had her own phone out, shaking, showing it to anyone who'd look. Grant had been messaging another woman, too, a co-worker, the same 6 months he'd been with Colette. She wasn't the only one. She wasn't even the special one. I watched Colette's face when she heard it. The wine glass slipped out of her hand and shattered, second one that night. She sat down hard in a folding chair, staring at nothing. A minute later, I saw her twisting her wedding ring off her finger, slow, like it suddenly weighed more than she could carry.
The days after were a blur. Colette tried apologizing, tried explaining, said it just happened. I didn't have much left to say. I'd already said everything I needed to say in that backyard. She assumed she'd get Birdie, easy, automatic, but I'd been the one doing pickups, doctor's appointments, parent-teacher conferences. 3 years of it documented in my calendar without even meaning to build a case. My lawyer said it was one of the cleanest custody filings he'd seen in years. The divorce took about 4 months. There were nights I sat in my truck in the driveway before going inside, not ready to walk into a house that still had her furniture in it. There were nights I finally let myself cry, alone, after Birdie was asleep, the water running so nobody heard. Colette moved out in October. Custody was finalized in December. I got primary, she got weekends and Wednesday dinners. Rebuilding took longer than I expected. That first winter, it was just me and Birdie in a too-quiet house, figuring out things Colette used to handle. Packing school lunches wrong for a month, forgetting picture day, learning how to braid hair off a video at midnight. Some nights I felt like I was failing her, but slowly it started to feel less like surviving and more like living. By spring, we had a rhythm. Pancakes on Saturdays, homework at the kitchen table, her laugh coming easier again. Grant's marriage collapsed within weeks of the party. Last I heard, he moved into an apartment across town, alone, watching all. Last month, I took Birdie to her soccer game, like I do every Saturday now. She scored in the second half, ran straight to the sideline just to find me and point at the goal, make sure I saw it. I saw it. I always see it. There's still a butterfly sticker on the side of her cleat bag. I never take it off. Colette was in the parking lot that day, standing by her car at a distance, watching. She didn't come closer. Maybe some part of her finally understood the size of what she gave up that night and what it cost her to say 7 words out loud in front of everyone she wanted to impress. She spent months looking for a better man. My daughter spent those same months discovering she already had one. Colette cheated. That's not up for debate. But I sat on that recording for hours, let the party happen, let her humiliate herself in front of everyone before I said a word. Who crossed the bigger line that night? Her or me? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and share it with somebody who needs to hear it.